Shalom, this is Ben Bresky, and this week, instead of talking about Jewish history, we will be talking about current events. I usually like to share some of the lesser-known stories about Israel and the Jewish people, but this week I had the opportunity to meet with a group of volunteers from the United States, and so I met up with the participants of the Authentic Israel Volunteer Trip from Park Synagogue in Cleveland, Ohio. First, we go to Ben Yehuda Street in downtown Jerusalem.
My name is Rabbi Sharon Marcus. I'm a rabbi at Park Synagogue in Cleveland, Ohio. We're here with a group of 17 people. We came on a volunteer mission. In total, we'll be here a week. And we've done volunteering and picking avocados and helping cook meals for soldiers. And we also have each day done something to bear witness. We went to the Nova Festival. We've met with survivors of Nova. And then also we have met with families and spoken to people about their experiences over the last year.
And we'll have the reactions of some of these people been to a group from Cleveland visiting.
So my name is Paula Herman. I am a member of Park Synagogue. We have learned that our presence here is the most meaningful thing for us and for all of the Israelis who we've encountered. They are so thankful and so grateful and find it so meaningful that we have taken our time across the world to support them.
I am assuming you've been to Israel before. How does this compare to previous visits?
Hi, this is Becky Chesler. I'm a member of Park Synagogue as well. This trip has been a little bit more meaningful and a little bit more powerful. The first time I came was also with Rabbi Marcus, and we came, it was truly, I believe, like a tourist trip where we saw the hot spots. We saw Masada, we saw the wall, we saw the Dead Sea, but this time we were actually doing things and seeing things, going to the Nova Festival to see it for real. It was just a little bit more powerful and not as touristy as the last time. Volunteering and just showing Israel the support that it needs at this time.
We certainly got our hands dirty. We picked avocados and we packaged vegetables on a farm. We went to Lekit, sorted vegetables, and then we spent the other day, 6 hours in a kitchen preparing food, hot food, that they give to the people who live in that area. I think we made over 100 meals.
And to soldiers for the Shabbat. We're very exhausted. We've been working sun up to sundown. Left the hotel at 8:30 every morning. We didn't get back till 10 o'clock at night some nights. Yesterday, we went to a farm outside Tel Aviv, and we helped them prepare spinach seeds. We had to separate the seeds to plant for next year. We heard their story, how their fields could not be harvested. And the kitchen was just unbelievable. It was a whole day experience. They were very happy to have us, have extra hands.
We went to Shabbat services this morning to conservative synagogue here, and we're from a conservative synagogue in the States, in Cleveland, Ohio, and for me, again, my first time in Israel, having a Shabbat service in Jerusalem, which was basically the same Shabbat service we do in Cleveland, Ohio, was just mind-boggling for me, but an outstanding experience.
Last night we went to the wall, and then we walked back to our hotel. It was really beautiful just to be at the wall with all the people. And again, we were the only Americans. I'm used to seeing tons of Americans there. It was all Israelis. Our hotel even is all Israeli. They have a table. The Americans, they have us at one table. And I realized today that many people in the hotel were displaced families because we walk in the hall, and they have a high chair and a stroller and things for the kids and toys. I had some stickers from home that were little Israeli flags, and I gave it to some kids in the hallway, and they were like, Toda, Toda, running down the hall. But we realized in our hotel, there's a whole community that's been displaced because they had their own children, and clearly were really involved with Israeli families. And even when we came on the trip to put, the reason you're visiting, they told us not to say tourist, to say volunteer. So the trip has really been focusing on helping out during this difficult time, and we really feel like we've done every day we've done something useful.
Before the group left Israel, I followed up with them as they were in the airport to summarize their experiences.
The gentleman from the Nova Music Festival, he lost 2 friends in a bomb shelter that turned out to be a death trap. But he and 3 other friends drove like maniacs out of there and got out safely. And he has some major post-traumatic stress. And part of his therapy is to talk to other people about his feelings. And he told us all about the way he was able to escape and what it has done to his community, what this has done to his family and his best friends who both died and had children, young children. For him, it was very therapeutic to talk to us. Difficult to hear, but very therapeutic for him.
What was the other reactions of the Israelis you met, you and your group?
All of the reactions for Israelis were so grateful. They were so surprised that we had taken the time and come across the world basically to support them. And they were very grateful. They were very appreciative that we were helping in so many ways, and they were appreciative to just talk to us and tell us their stories. That was really, really big, giving them all the opportunity to talk. We talked to families of people who have been held hostage. We talked to families whose children had died or are in the service now. And everybody's just so grateful that we were here. That was probably the most meaningful part of the whole trip.
And what was this like in comparison to previous trips to Israel you've taken?
The previous trips to Israel have all been tourist-oriented, where we would go from place to place. We'd learn the history of Israel. We'd learn the history of all of the different things that we were seeing and doing, but it was never a volunteer mission. And it was never in neighborhoods the way we were really engrossed in neighborhoods. We were in a kibbutz. We were in different neighborhoods doing volunteer work. We were on farms. When we were here before, it was just strictly in a tourist capacity. This was really getting down and dirty, Ben.
And I guess you need a little bit of a vacation from your vacation after all your work.
We actually, it's funny, we say that as a joke, we need a vacation from the vacation. We're all very tired, but it's a kind of really, really fulfilled exhaustion. That no, we're not going to be home and just bed rot for the next day or two. We're going to all go back to work and do our thing. And our mission now is to get as many people as we can to go to Israel because we think it's so important.
Miriam Rose. I've been to Israel quite a few times, and this is the first time I can recall where so many Israelis said, thanking us for coming. They were so grateful that we came. And having been here so many times, I never felt it was anything out of the ordinary, even though I realize it's a difficult time for Israel. But I was very impressed that any Israelis cared that we came. You know, Israelis in my past experience, it's like, oh, another tourist, not so interesting. But this time we seemed to stand out more because there were so few tourists. It was nice to be appreciated, but I appreciate what everyone here is doing. And I give you all a lot of credit for going on with life, as difficult as it is. I have family who lives here, and I know what they went through on October 7th, but it wasn't anything like some of the people that we spoke with during our travels who were impacted much more directly than my family was. I just felt everyone had a very heartbreaking story to tell us, and it was so sad, but somehow Israel hasn't given up, and everyone hopes for the best still, in spite of everything.
And some of the participants said that you went to a coffee shop and it was almost like normal.
I could believe that. Well, my family, for example, pretty much continued life as usual with some exceptions. But they don't live in the areas directly affected. They've not been evacuated, and they're kind of in between Tel Aviv and Beersheba is where my family is. And except for one of my nephews who's been in reserve duty for many months, he finally got out. So, that was kind of frightening, at least to me, and I'm sure to his parents also. But otherwise, people are going about living their lives, and I give them credit for being able to do that. I don't know if I could.
Hi, this is Sandy Horwitz.
What are your feelings now that the trip is over with the people you talked to and the work you did?
First of all, we're exhausted, but it was a very meaningful, and I have to say, there's nothing else I've done in my life that compares to what we did at the different places, picking avocados and making food so that people have Shabbat dinner, and even sorting peas and seeds and things. I mean, I've never even done this kind of work, but I was happy to do it. It made me feel like I was contributing. It was a very, I almost want to say, life-changing week. If a week can make a change in your whole life, I think this one would do it.
Hi, Ben. Scott Jacobson, and this was my first visit to Israel, where the rest of our group from Park Synagogue have been here probably multiple times. Yeah, it was my first visit, and we were joking today. I did it in reverse order. This past week was volunteering and real meaningful hands-on stuff, which is wonderful. I didn't do any of the tourist things, so next time I come to Israel, I'll take a tourist trip.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
It was a blessing to finally be able to take a trip here to Israel, and it's a beautiful, beautiful country. We were in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, but I really loved Jerusalem, just the history and the ghosts that walk those streets and what have you. Like I said, I certainly will look to return someday.
This has been a moment in Jewish history with a special report on current events. For more information on Park Synagogue, you can visit parksynagogue.org. My name is Ben Bresky, and for past shows, you can visit benbresky.substack.com. Thank you to all the listeners, and Shalom.